welcome to another evening live stream. My apologies, I am running a little late tonight. I had this scheduled for 8:30. It's 9:01 p.m. So thank you for still coming out. The purpose of this stream tonight is to take a look at the various interfaces of three competing NAS products. On the more polished end, we've got TrueNAS Scale. We've got at the next tier, I guess you would say, we've got OpenMediaVault and XigmaNAS. So I had planned to get a VM of XigmaNAS installed before this live stream happened, and that just did not work out for me today. But we're going to wing it and still take a look at these and see what we can do and just kind of compare things a little bit. I'm not sure we'll walk away with a definitive answer or which one is better, but we may have an idea of which might be better for a particular situation, or which may be more suitable given the people that might have to use it. Of course, if you're in any sort of relationship, you have to consider that all-important spousal approval factor. If your spouse is actually going to log into this other than for the file sharing and application aspect, in which a lot of the technical parts are abstracted away. So, hello, David. Welcome. All right. So let me go ahead and share my screen, and we can kick things off. And at any point, if people have questions or comments, please feel free to throw those in the chat, and I will try to answer those to the best of my ability at this point tonight. So, let me go ahead and get logged in to Proxmox. Oops. Okay. So as you can see on the side here, I'll make that just slightly bigger for the time being. I do have OpenMediaVault Stable and TrueNAS Scale installed as VMs. I'm just going to take a look and see what I've got each of those as far as hardware. 8 gigs of RAM, 4 processor sockets. The install drive or boot drive is going to be 20 gigabytes, and I did the default size in Proxmox of 32 gigabytes for the other 4 drives. So why don't we start by building our XigmaNAS, and we will make it very similar. This is the latest version here. And 20 gig boot drive. And we're going to put that my VMs. And we will make the other 4 32 gigs, but we'll locate them on the same storage drive as we do this. Okay, so we're going to go 2 sockets and 2 cores per socket just to keep things as equal as possible. And 8 gigs of RAM. And let's go ahead and get this started and installing. And it should kick off any moment now. It says config is locked for create. So, and there we go. Why don't I detach and do this. Okay, so this is our XigmaNAS boot screen. As you can see, it does look a little bit different than Linux. This is based on FreeBSD, so it uses a different kernel and a lot of user space. Utilities are different, although there are some, at this point, there are some commonalities between them. The OpenSSH that Linux uses is actually a port from the BSD world, and there has been some, shall we say, cross-pollination over the years. Joe from Cajoling Technologies is in the house. Welcome, Joe. Nice to see you here. See what we can get done on this. We'll look through XigmaNAS first and get this installed, and then we'll look at the other 2 NAS systems that I've been covering a little bit recently. I would expect it would, David. Since you've been running XigmaNAS for a good bit now. So, link status changed to up. That's good. We're progressing. Okay. So, with all due respect to the Beatles, number 9, number 9, number 9. Hey, guess what we're choosing? Number 9, install upgrade from live CD USB. Okay. And we are going to install the, let's see, we're going to use the embedded number 1, which is the preferred methodology. We're just going to go with that. And we're going to install that, again, number 1, the preferred. Okay. All right. So this is the point. I guess I should back up just a moment. So normally what I do is I only have the boot drive attached when I do an install. For the sake of time tonight, I wanted to keep things moving, so I did all the drives at once. The key here is I usually try to do a smaller drive for the OS drive, and in this instance, it's going to be the first option, the 21.47 gig QEMU hard drive. And so we'll let that do its thing. It was recommended, and again was recommended. And we'll do all for that. All right. So let's see what you have in chat. I'll soon be rebuilding my server with new hardware and the latest version of XigmaNAS. That I saw your video about the trip to Micro Center to buy parts. And looked like a lot of fun spending that kind of money in one day. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing what you do with that, getting that up and running. So that'll be interesting to see the progress there. Never heard of XigmaNAS. Is it like Unraid? So XigmaNAS is the evolution of the original FreeNAS. It went from FreeNAS, then it was called NAS for free, and then when the IX System guys picked up FreeNAS as a product, NAS for free, somewhere along that timeline, they switched and renamed the project to XigmaNAS. So this is really the evolution of the original FreeNAS project that I was running starting in 2009-ish, I guess. So yeah, fun. Well, until I get the credit card bill. All right, so we've got the install is basically finished. Data partition has already been formatted as part of the installation. So this is one thing that OpenMediaVault does not do by default. XigmaNAS will actually give you access to the space on the boot drive that's not used by the OS install, and you can actually use it for storage. So I'm going to go ahead and continue through this. So we've done the install, and so we can go ahead and exit. I'm going to go back to the other view here. I'm going to do exit, and With a little luck, number 7 to reboot server should get us back in and going. Say yes. I'm going to quick come in here and we're going to set the VM to not have an optical disc inserted. With a little luck, hopefully I didn't get burned by the demo curse. And it looks like it is booting. All right, that makes me happy. Oh, no worries. I've been told before that I'm a walking encyclopedia for some of this stuff. So, please, if my explanations ever get boring, please somebody stop me, protect me from myself. So sometimes I do need that protection. New stuff I bought at Micro Center is for my future ESXi system. XigmaNAS system will be getting parts I transfer from my daily driver 8th gen system, the PC you're using right now. Oh, very good. Very good. I'm looking forward to both. I've downloaded ESXi. I have this off the wall plan to test out. Well, I had the off the wall plan of testing it out in nested virtualization and installing it inside of Proxmox, but apparently my old server is too old and isn't going to let me. So I will try that again once I get the new ish i9 stuff up and running and see where things stand there. If nothing else, if it actually runs, it'll be a good video to have on the channel, and show people that, hey, you can do nested virtualization. It's not only not usually the most practical thing for a production environment. In fact, I wouldn't necessarily use it for anything but a testing or evaluation type environment. But that's just me. Okay. So let's see if let's do number 2, because it did not give me an IP address on my subnet. See if doing this will work. I have a whole series of upgrades, just no time to do them, with most parts already purchased. That seems to be my issue lately. Every time I seem to have parts laying around, like this i9 project that's been ongoing for a month, I usually get inundated with other things. Oh, that looks better. 74.102. All right. Now that I've actually got an IP address on my subnet, Probably defaults to HTTP. Okay, we've got a shiny and bright XigmaNAS install. Okay, so for anybody who is not aware, the default passwords for the GUI are root for the user and XigmaNAS, all lowercase, with no spaces for the password. And that was for the terminal. And then for the GUI, it's admin and XigmaNAS for the password. I thought that's what they were, but obviously they haven't changed it since the last time I installed. Okay, so right off we are given a bit of a warning. Backup configuration. The date of the last backup, last configuration backup cannot be found, which is something I don't remember seeing before, but hey, it's all good. So, under General in System, we can change some things. If you want to push it to HTTPS, you can. For the purposes of this video, I'm not going to right at the moment. We probably should, though, set our time zone. We're not in Africa. And let's... America, Detroit sounds good. Date format is fine. And we'll use the NTP server to sync our time. And XigmaNAS.local and DNS is fine. We'll save that. So the last time I installed XigmaNAS, I don't think they had the virtualization option. So all the various NAS systems these days seem to have decided to move into virtualization, which I guess for certain environments is okay. I prefer to have my NAS separate from my virtualization, or have my virtualization server, or excuse me, have my NAS server, if I'm going to run a Linux or Unix based NAS that's not an appliance, have it actually run on my virtualization server. So I think I'll leave these alone for the moment, and we're going to leave the password as is. Okay, so under advanced, I don't really want to mess with those at this point. So let's check and see if there are any firmware updates. Let's see, there are no regular product updates available. Okay, so we're good. The ISO I installed from, I just downloaded yesterday. So let's take a look at disk management. While that's doing its thing, let's take a look at chat real quick. I'm still running 12.1 something. Yep. I think they've changed their naming scheme, because I think this is 2022 dot whatever. Yeah, it looks a little bit like Windows 3.1. It's rather dated looking. In fact, it really hasn't, other than the branding at the top, it hasn't changed a significant amount since I was running like the 0.4 version in 2008 or 9. It was definitely a pre 1.0 version at that point. I see that error all the time. Okay. Just want to make sure I'm not the only one. When you use it as a Samba AD server as well as a NAS, there's a lot more you need to set up on those first 2 pages. Right. Never use XigmaNAS virtualization. Yeah. So, I mean, even like Synology and QNAP are dabbling in virtualization these days. So, you know, it's something I can see the usefulness for like a Synology when you're doing more Docker containers because they're small and lightweight generally, and it allows them to sandbox the apps or add-ons that they have from the OS that's running. And that can be a good thing for managing upgrades and making sure that things are not running amok as easy. Okay, so let's we'll rescan the bus and see if that shows up. Can look at software RAID. I will say that I will be glad to get the i9 server up and running. This old box really is feeling long in the tooth these days. And the majority of the storage on the i9 system is going to be all solid state. And unfortunately, I'm still rocking spinning Rust on the legacy server. Okay. So okay, well, jump back to management. I just want to see. I would have thought, and again, I admit it's been a while since I've used XigmaNAS, but I would have thought my other drives would show up here. So take a look here. MD 0. Okay. Well, all right. I would think we would have the ability to see the other drives. I just want to make sure that I didn't do something wrong here. A 20 gig drive and 4 32 gig drives. Well, So we're rocking about 4.5 gigs of RAM on this out of 8 allocated. Is that awful? So I'm having a brain fart tonight. All right, let's see. We are... Let's see. Dev DA0 partition 2 as compact flash on UFS file system. Read only 1.1. Is it not seeing the other 4 drives for whatever reason? List disks. When in doubt, the Google will help you. Or will it? egrep. DA. Through 9. Or CD 0 through 9. And var run dmessage.boot. Okay, 0, DA1, DA2, DA3, DA4. So we should have 4 drives plus our boot drive. Let's see. You should only need to refresh that screen in the GUI. Well, let's see. That's what I had thought, but let's see. This is just kind of bizarre. Rescan buses. It does not like me tonight. Well, when in doubt, turn it off and turn it on again, right? we will reboot it and see what happens. Welcome, Jacob. Oh, try the checkbox. Well, let's see if we'll see what happens when we reboot, and then we can continue troubleshooting through this. At this point, David, you're probably more of the master of XigmaNAS than I am. But I've found myself more using OpenMediaVault when I've been doing NAS stuff based on Linux lately, if it's not been on my Synology. My issue with my Synology lately is that the newest, I've got two Synology boxes, and the newest of the two, I got a warning that I'm on the final update my model is going to get. So I've been looking at getting a newer Synology appliance because I use that for a lot of my set and forget backup stuff I do on my local network, and I'd kind of like to make sure I'm running supported hardware. So we'll get this booted back up and see what we can do with this. Let's see. Yes, I've mentioned a couple times that XigmaNAS is based on FreeBSD. TrueNAS Scale is based on Debian. So yeah, XigmaNAS uses jails, while TrueNAS Scale uses Docker. I was, in context of what I was talking about earlier, I was saying that XigmaNAS is the continuation of the original FreeNAS project. And so the people that are running TrueNAS now, IX Systems, they have two product lines. They have TrueNAS Core, I believe it is, which is the BSD-based version. And TrueNAS Scale, you're correct, is the Linux version that's based on Debian. So that's kind of the rundown on how that works. So TrueNAS Core will use jails as well, and TrueNAS Scale is using Docker. So getting configuration loaded up. Let's see. Jacob says, I use TrueNAS Core on my two main NASs with large disk shelves, and I have one 4 terabyte all SSD TrueNAS Scale testbed. Very nice. All right. We are almost booted back up. All right. And reload this. Okay. Go back to disk management. And clear configuration before importing disks. Well, maybe. Aha! Okay. So at least our disks are showing up now. Configuration has been changed, must apply. Okay, so now we've got our disks showing up. This is good. As you can see, the remainder of the disk that we installed the OS on is showing up, and it's already, excuse me, it's already formatted. So we're going to come over. We've really got enough RAM. We should be able to run ZFS. Please add a virtual device first. So we need to come back here. We're going to add a virtual disk. My Z RAID. And let me think. 4 disks. I should be able to do Z RAID 2. No disks available. Please add a new disk first. Right. Okay, scratch that. For the purposes of this video, just to get things moving, we will... No soft RAID format disks available. Alright. So... let's go back. We have to do... format these as soft RAID. Automatic, always on. Well, this is embarrassing. Okay, HDD format. Let's do these 4 disks. For the sake of speed, let's go software RAID. Next. Format. And this is the part that could take a little while. So... okay. Yeah, I agree, David. There are a lot of steps before you have a share. And that's one thing I like about OpenMediaVault is that it's kind of streamlined that process. And from playing with TrueNAS Scale, they have also streamlined that process. I just want to come back here and see if there's anything eating up. Oh, must be doing something. We got a white screen. Okay, well, while that's doing its thing, let's go ahead and we'll start up our OpenMediaVault 6 system and just sort of poke around that while we're filling some time. So as much as, you know, a free BSD or any BSD based system is, you know, rock solid and you know, they do a good job in BSD land to make things just work. You know, I've always been more of a Linux guy. FreeNAS was sort of my odd little deviation off into BSD land. And hopefully that's going to boot. Did I kill something? Still only using 17% of 8 CPUs. Memory I'm using most of, but shouldn't be bogged down this far. So yeah, when the original developer of OpenMediaVault switched camps, I guess you could say, over to Linux, you know, I waited a few versions and then I followed. So anyways, this one's on 209. And come on, don't embarrass me now. Okay. So, what happened over here? Mounted RAID volume cannot be deleted. Remove the mount point before proceeding. Okay. Well, XigmaNAS is not doing me any favors tonight. Did it lose my disks? We will find that out momentarily. Okay, so just to poke around OpenMediaVault a little bit. One of the quirks, I guess you could say, of OpenMediaVault 6 is sometimes it loses its configuration for the dashboard. So you have to set that. And it gives you different options here. In theory, this is nice. in practice, it leaves a little bit to be desired. But I will say it is a little bit more modern looking on the surface than what XigmaNAS is today. You know, normally I'll start off anytime I come into OpenMediaVault, I check for updates. And this looks like time zone data. Oh, and we're upgrading OpenMediaVault to 6.0.26-1. Monet gets an update. The Blue Z firmware, which this box does not have Bluetooth, but it's going to install it nonetheless. So we'll say yes to that. While it's doing its thing, come back over here to our XigmaNAS. So, formatted with soft RAID, and it is online. So we should be able to mount okay. Look at management one more time. It's definitely been a minute since I've used XigmaNAS. Okay. So I think you need to create a pool. Alright. So let's see. Well, maintenance. Okay. Let's see. Is it gonna list? Okay, let's look at system status. And this will give us some information, memory usage swap. We've got disks. Okay, so we've got the 4 soft RAID disks online. You would think that once you've got them online, you could work with them. Let's okay. SMB local user. Let's actually go to users and groups first and create a user. Okay, there we go. And we'll just create a user named Billy. And we'll make sure he's today we'll give him wheel. Not what I'd normally do, but Set user password. Okay, so we've got a user now. So let's go ahead and see. So we've got a local user we can use. And we will come down, look through these real quick. We'll enable SMB and see if we can create a share. Test share. And it's not pulling disks. Okay, let's cancel this. Somewhere I'm missing a step that I should still know. Let's see. So software RAID management. Maintenance information. I would have thought that it would list the drives that are installed in our RAID, but maybe I'm missing something simple somewhere along the line here. Yeah, a pool is only for ZFS. So with software RAID, so we know the disks are showing up. Oops. Let's see. It should be adding a volume. Here we go. My RAID. Here we go. Create an initialize RAID. And we're going to use 4 disks. We're going to do RAID 1. And it's initializing. This is a step I was missing. This is the step I was missing. So, in comparison, I will say that the procedure in OpenMediaVault is a little more straightforward. And then when we fire up TrueNAS Scale, I have to say they've got the I think they've got the edge a little bit. Oh, is this the VM that was doing that craziness on me? Right. Okay. Well, anyway, we'll can this VM for the moment. So this is still initializing. Once that OpenMediaVault VM is shut down, we'll fire up TrueNAS Scale. I think the issue that's working against me right now is I'm in my backup window for this particular server. And so it's trying to do double duty and back up to the Proxmox backup server while I'm doing this. So okay, starting TrueNAS middleware. So hopefully this doesn't bite me in the rear going forward. We're still initializing. Reload the page. Okay, so that's probably going to take a little while. So I will say that TrueNAS Scale does take a little longer to boot up. Oh, and of course it's trying to back up this particular VM right now. Go figure. Yeah. Does take a little while longer to boot up, but I guess the nice thing is that this middleware layer that IX Systems has implemented for the TrueNAS product line, it's the same whether you're running TrueNAS Core or TrueNAS Scale. And it's, you know, it contains basically an abstraction layer so that it can run on either BSD or Linux, and it will map accordingly to either Docker or jails for their virtualization or containerization, as it might be. So, but again, typically on a NAS, it's something you're going to leave up and running, and you're not going to have to sit through this longer boot process that often, ideally. But, you know, it is what it is. I haven't been running TrueNAS Scale long enough to really feel out the full pros and cons. But it is from what I've done with it so far, rather impressive. So what I want to do is come over to this other Proxmox server. And it seems like I had a VM on one of these other servers for OpenMediaVault 6. So we might be able to look at that on this other server. The disks might not be quite as large, but the interface will hopefully work for us without that glitch we were seeing a few moments ago. So yeah, TrueNAS is still booting up. I think it's fighting the backup process right now, but we'll work around this. Okay, so this one is at 139. Okay. So, on OpenMediaVault, given this, I would say, cleaner interface. You know, it does a good job of giving giving you the list of disks right off the bat. You go into RAID management, you add your disks, and you basically move down the list of options in the storage node over here on the side. You add a file system, which I've done, and then you've got to do two other things. So in SMB CIFS, of course, you've got to enable the service, and then you've got to create a share, which this one is just called test. And then the thing I like about this is that when you've got everything set up, it clearly gives you this check mark in the referenced column under shared folders, so that you know that everything should be ready to go. Now, of course, you do have to have a user, and again, I'm using Billy as an example, which is the name of a childhood friend. He went by Billy when we were young. But generally just a little more polished, I would say, than XigmaNAS tends to be. Now, I will say that, you know, over the past few years, especially between versions 3 and 6, there's been a pretty big change in OpenMediaVault as far as the graphical interface has been, the way it's been laid out and how it's changed. So hopefully they, you know, this is the version of the web interface that has been released with version 6. Excuse me. I'm sneezy tonight. But it just continues to get more polished. So this is all set to go. Now, the plugin capabilities in OpenMediaVault, some of these use Docker. Some of these are installed direct. It depends on what it is. So like, this now has an option for a OneDrive plugin, and can sync a shared folder with OneDrive cloud storage, which, to each their own, I guess. I'm not sure I would do that. I would be more inclined, and I'm actually going to try this on well, I've got the S3 plugin installed. So what this actually does is it gives you an Amazon S3 compatible storage facility. So then any other utilities or systems that will work with Amazon S3, you can point them to your OpenMediaVault NAS. And so let's check on XigmaNAS, and that still says it's initializing. Let's reload that one more time. And it's still doing a backup. Okay. So we will... oh, did it kill the TrueNAS? Yeah, well... anyway, so taking a quick look at services, we've got the option for S3. It does open up its own web interface. And I've not worked with S3 too much, but it has the idea of buckets. And so I created a test bucket. The other two, Docs and Mac, are folders, shared folders that this MinIO facility imported when it was installed. So kind of interesting the way some of that works out. Now, I've not delved too deeply into the documentation on this. I probably know enough just to be dangerous with it. But that's why you do labs and lots of testing. So that, you know, when you do something in production, you're not going to make stupid mistakes, hopefully. Yeah, there's, you know, some good documentation out here with the MinIO people. And of course, they do have a commercial side of things. They have an enterprise and standard where they host it for you. But the basic version is under the AGPL license, the Afro GPL license. And you know, it's one of those things where it's a good place to get started and get some experience with it. And then if you do decide to use this in production somewhere, you know, then you're ready for it, and you're not learning while you're paying $1,000 a month. Because apparently this starts at 100 tibibytes. I think that's how you pronounce that. Per month. For the 100 tibibytes, $1,000 a month. So, but again, this is one of those things where you know, you've got MinIO, you've got Linode offers something similar with an S3 compatible. You've got Backblaze B2 buckets. You've got you know, the Amazon S3. I believe even DigitalOcean and a few others are offering S3 compatible buckets that are sometimes less expensive than Amazon. Yes, Jacob, that's very true. They do have their own NAS boxes that they offer. This isn't MinIO is not a NAS system. It's Amazon S3 storage. But just for the sake of argument, so like the mini series is typically what you would probably see people use at home. And let's see. They actually sell those on Amazon. Now, get ready for some sticker shock. The Mini E, 4 drive bays, 8 gigs of RAM, dual core CPU, quad 1 gigabit network, diskless for $850. So basically you're bringing your own drives. Even the XL, you're paying $1,600 for it plus tax. Now, granted, these are going to be a big step up from something like a Synology. In some regards. But I'm not sure I'd want to pay $1,150 for even the Mini X compared to a Synology when I still got to buy drives on top of it for a home use. This would be a small medium business type situation that I would recommend something like this for. But yeah, I mean, they're definitely a good option. I'm not sure that it's definitely the way I would go, but there are definitely some advantages in some of these appliances. This R series, all flash disk and flash options, raw capacity up to 2 petabytes. And the R10, I don't even know if they give pricing. You got to get a quote. Pricing starting at $3,000. Yeah. Not in my budget for sure at this point in time. Okay. So TrueNAS is on, TrueNAS Scale is on 232. Now I will have to say, no, that's right. They're the oddball of the bunch that requires you to log into the web interface as root. Now, the one thing that I really like about TrueNAS Scale that they just impressed me with from the get-go is right on the dashboard page, you've got an option that says Create Pool. And it puts you in a wizard and it walks you through the process. Really nice. If I had added extra discs, then I could have had this ready to walk through a second pool. But yeah, this is, I think, of the 3 open source NAS solutions I've shown tonight, this is probably the most polished. Failed to sync official catalog. I have been noticing a couple of weird errors, but you know, this is the first install I've done and I'm still sort of working through this. But you know, the nice thing is that you can run this on commodity hardware. As much as you can run it on their appliances. But this is, well, and I will say I like the dark mode that they've got on by default. So that has kind of impressed me. Easier on my eyes, especially when I'm doing these things at night. But this just, it shows the polish that you can get on a product when you've got a company backing it. Whereas OpenMediaVault and XigmaNAS, I believe, at least the last I checked, they just had a small team of more or less volunteer developers working on them. And, you know, it's still pretty amazing what they have been able to accomplish without a major backer. But, you know, I will say that TrueNAS Scale does impress me. It's still a fairly new project. I believe it was just last fall that they released their first production-ready version. Of their Linux-based product. But you can just see some of the polish that has gone into this. And, you know, it shows that they've got that backing. So, you know, part of this I'm sure was done to appeal to a less tech savvy crowd. Part of it was done, I'm sure, to make it feel more modern. And I have to say, good on them. Mission accomplished. It'll be interesting to see how they continue to evolve the product in the future. So, yeah, I mean, all that being said, I'm going to log out of MinIO. You know, I guess if I were to have to rank just on visual appeal, I would probably rank TrueNAS Scale, at the top of the heap, with OpenMediaVault in the middle. And as far as just purely visual, XigmaNAS is going to be bottom. It obviously could use with an overhaul of the web interface. And it seems like this initialization of the RAID volume has just been taking forever. Just curious. Not giving me a lot of other information to go by. Log. Okay, syncing disks. Okay, here we go. Attempt to query device size failed, not ready, medium not present. We've got we have Samba server XigmaNAS is now a domain master browser for workgroup on subnet, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Right. So, all right. I'm not sure how much more we can really do with this tonight, but, mine is an i5-8600, quite fast with ZFS. Yeah. Knowing that this is a many generations old Xeon, dual Xeon server, I didn't want to risk it running ZFS on this. But I would have thought it would have been a little bit faster than this for creation. If we apply changes. Oh, there it went to complete. Go figure. Okay. So now, volume name, my RAID, disk DA1, print general information. Okay, so we've got that all active. So if we go to SMB, and we had that set up, so we're good on that part. We want to, this is the part that gets confusing to me because it's been a while. Shares. Okay, so we should be able to do a share from this point. My share 1, test share, and it should be something beyond mount. Yeah. Again, this is just where some polish would come in handy. Okay. Mount point. And attribute mount point name is required. My RAID disk. Add wrong partition type or partition number. Okay. Partition 2. Okay. Well, I'm about ready to hang it up on XigmaNAS for tonight. Obviously, I need to either review my old videos or look at the documentation, because I am missing something that should be obvious to me tonight. Maybe it's just that it's been a long day, but we've been going for 90 minutes now. Not sure how much of a real NAS showdown this was. I accomplished one thing, and that's showing off the interfaces of all three systems. So I will count that as a small win there. We've got XigmaNAS installed and running. As far as having our share available, just for the sake of argument, on the Mac side here we do have XigmaNAS showing, but no share available, and we can't create a disk or a folder rather. So we're part of the way there. I just feel like I'm missing something that should be simple. So I don't want to delete the volume. Yeah, I think I'm going to, okay, so data set. Where do I find the data set? Let's see. Good question. Information and manual. Data set might be for just ZFS. Yeah, it looks like that's under ZFS. Software RAID configuration. Okay, add the disks. We did that. Prepare the disks. We did that and formatted. Create the software RAID array. Did we do that? Open disks software RAID page and choose your software RAID type. I'm not seeing the option they're talking about. Yeah, I suspect something's not working quite right here. So RAID 1 details, components 4, sync ID. So I should have actually done that as a RAID 5, I suppose, but anyways, yeah, their documentation, create the software RAID, RAID 5 they did, click the plus icon, enter RAID name, apply changes, format the software RAID array. When the status is up or rebuilding, the RAID must be formatted. Open disk format menu and choose newly created RAID array. Disk. So obviously their documentation does not match their interface. Disks format. Well, yeah. Leaves a little bit to be desired. Or else my brain is just fried tonight. Alright. I think I'm going to go ahead and call this. It's been an hour and 39 minutes. And frankly, I'm tired. I'm probably missing something simple and obvious. So instead of embarrassing myself further, I'll leave it at this. So I want to thank everybody that came out tonight. This has been a bit of an adventure, especially working with 3 different NAS systems at the same time. Going forward, I do want to nail down what is missing from this XigmaNAS setup currently. So I'll probably do a short video on that, maybe to release tomorrow or Saturday. If I release it tomorrow, it'll be more in the afternoon, after I've had a good night's sleep and can attack this fresh in the morning. But I think we're close. I'm not sure what I'm missing at the moment. And I think a good night's sleep will probably make it easy to figure out where the issue is. And attack that fresh, and it will probably be, less than a 10-minute video, and I can show where I got derailed tonight, in the hopes that maybe it'll save people some frustration going forward. I may also, if I can figure that part out, I may also add some additional disks to the XigmaNAS install and look at the ZFS stuff. So that I think kind of brings you up to speed on what my plans are for the next video or two. If nothing else, if I don't get those videos out, then I will have an update on Sunday on what's happening. So the other thing is on Saturday, I'll be working with, let's see, do that. I'll be working with the two TP-Link units. Hey, look, now I'm somewhat on the screen. So that I can be ready and have them basically staged for deployment later this month at the campground. I've got a few parts that I need to check on the status on the shipment. That's mostly antennas and adapter pieces for their existing outdoor access points. But once I have all those parts in hand and have the access points partially configured for the intended deployment, then I'll be able to schedule the install date for the campground and get this all going and get paid for it. Most importantly, I guess. But tomorrow, part of the day is going to be spent trying to finish these laptops that I've got sitting here for the nonprofit. I sent 2 of them back earlier in the week. I've got 3 more that need to be worked on. One of them is going to get a fresh installed Windows to get rid of some pesky malware that's on there that I haven't had a lot of luck getting rid of. Although it might be, I don't know. I may do a fresh install Windows. I may just delete the user profile and create a fresh one and rescan the system before I decide to completely reinstall Windows. But I don't know. I may just cut my losses and reinstall Windows and know that I'm starting with a fresh system. A lot of times, you know, we used to call it back in the day a nuke and pave. A lot of times that is the best option forward. I guess I can show you one additional acquisition I've made. I'm now the owner of an Xbox controller. My little B-Link mini PC that's running the Ryzen 3750H. I installed Pop! OS on it and Steam, and I've actually been doing a little bit of gaming. Last weekend I spent a good chunk of hours sitting and gaming, running a game called Infernax, which is sort of a Metroidvania hybrid type of game. And I have to say I had the most fun doing that. More fun than I've had gaming in a lot of years. And I kind of missed it. So I'm trying to have some self-control and really only allow myself to game on the weekends. But I may get in an hour worth of gaming in the morning before I set out to spend a chunk of the day working on laptops. So on that note, I want to just say thank you for everybody that came out tonight and bearing with me as my tired brain persisted through this. Again, my apologies for starting 30 minutes late. I had a long day. I took a nap in my lazy boy chair. I had an alarm set, and I must have slept through it. So, uh, I may just do next week's Thursday live stream at 9 o'clock, and run with it. But my goal would be to finish by 10:30 or 10:45 at the very latest, and we've already run 2 minutes over that. So, on that note, thank you everybody for coming out once again. If you got something from this rather haphazard video, I guess you could say, where I bounced around a bit, please consider giving me a like, and if you haven't subscribed, please do that as well. I do have a couple of other recorded videos that I need to finish editing. Might just be one that I've got left, but I've got some things in the pipeline to go up as more polished recorded videos as well. So thanks everybody. Have a good night. Stay safe out there, and if I don't see you before, I will see you on Sunday morning in the next live stream. Have a good night, everybody.